An 18-year-old stands in adjudicator Caprio's courtroom with the aplomb of someone who thinks they begin a acknowledged loophole. He's adverse adventuresome active charges after accomplishing donuts in a Capitol parking lot at 2 a.m. His car got impounded. His friends filmed the accomplished affair and posted it online. But this teenager isn't worried. He's actually smiling because he's done his research, consulted the internet, and convinced himself he's ample out article the entire acknowledged arrangement missed. A back Judge Caprio begins acknowledgement, the potential fines and penalties. The kid interrupts with 4 words that accomplish the entire courtroom gasp. You can't acquisition me. Not, please don't acquisition me. Not, I can't afford a fine. But a collapsed statement. You can't acquisition me. Adjudicator Caprio's pen stops mid-stroke. His eyes lift from the file, and the attending on his face says, this is about to become a absolute expensive education. Hit subscribe, because what happens? Next is why you never acquaint a adjudicator, what they can't do, and why internet acknowledged advice is account, actually what you pay for it. Comment below. Except you anytime seen someone confidently wrong? This is that on steroids. Thursday afternoon, 2:15 p.m. Providence Municipal Court. The BAOIF calls a case that already has the prosecutor shaking his head. Case 8934. Brandon Cole. Reckless driving. Abolition of property. A boyish boy walks in wearing a hoodie and jeans, AirPods still in his ears until his mother frantically gestures for him to abolish them. He's flanked by both parents who look exhausted and embarrassed. Adjudicator Caprio reviews the book with growing concern. Mr. Cole, you're 18 years old. Is that correct? Yes, sir. At Atomic, he says, sir. And you're cited for reckless driving in the Providence Place Mall parking lot at 2:17 a.m. The police report indicates you were performing what they alarm donuts in your vehicle, leaving annoy marks on the pavement and nearly arresting a ablaze pole. Is this accurate? Brandon accoutrement his weight. I mean, yeah, but there's more. The mall is acute accused for acreage damage. The annoy marks crave professional removal at a amount of $1,200. Your agent was impounded, and Judge Caprio looks up with 18-carat disbelief. You and your company filmed this activity and acquainted on amusing media where it has, according to this report, over 50,000 views. Brandon's mother puts her face in her hands. His ancestor stares at the floor. Mr. Cole, can you explain your thinking here? Brandon actually shrugs. It was late. The lot was empty. We were just having fun. Nobody got hurt. Aloof having fun by antibacterial acreage and driving recklessly. I mean, I wouldn't alarm it reckless. I had ascendancy of my car the whole time. Adjudicator Caprio's eyebrows raise. You had ascendancy while spinning in circles, abrogation elastic marks, and nearly hitting a ablaze pole. Yeah, I watch videos online. I knew what I was doing. The prosecutor coughs to cover what ability except been a laugh. This is not activity able-bodied for Brandon. Judge Caprio continues. Mr. Cole, your agent was impounded. How abundant did it amount to get it out? Like $400. And who paid that? Brandon glances at his parents. My dad, I see. And the Capitol is demanding $1,200 for pavement restoration. Who's advantageous that? I don't apperceive yet. Judge Caprio makes notes. Well, in accession to acreage damage, your adverse adventuresome active charges that carries a accomplished of up to $1,000 plus court costs, abeyant license suspension, and binding cartage safety courses. And that's a back, Brandon says it. Yeah, about that. He pulls out his phone. I looked this up. You can't actually acquisition me. The attorneys go silent. Judge Caprio's pen stops. His mother gasps. Brandon, no! But Brandon continues oblivious. I'm 18, but I'm still in aerial school, and there's this law that says you can't impose banking penalties on students. So accurately, you can't acquisition me. Judge Caprio, absolute boring, puts bottomward his pen. His announcement is a mix of atheism and something that ability be pity. Mr. Cole, did you find this information online? There's like this acknowledged forum where bodies column about accepting out of tickets. Someone said that acceptance are protected from fines because it's considered targeting minors. I see. And did this online acknowledged expert specify which accompaniment this law applies to? No. Did they adduce any absolute statute numbers or case law? Brandon looks beneath assured now. It was aloof on the forum. Judge Caprio turns to the prosecutor. Counselor, are you acquainted of any Rhode Island statute that prohibits finding 18-year-old acceptance for traffic violations? The prosecutor doesn't alike try to hide his smile now. No, Your Honor. There is no such statute. Mr. Cole appears to be confusing educational academy behavior, which may prohibit schools from financially penalizing acceptance with bent and traffic law, which accept no such exemption. Judge Caprio turns aback to Brandon. Mr. Cole, I appetite to be absolute bright about something. 18 years old agency, you are a legal adult. You can vote. You can serve in the military, you can assurance contracts, and you can actually be fined for traffic violations. Being an aerial academy is irrelevant. Brandon's face is accident color, but the appointment said the appointment was wrong, or you misunderstood, or addition was trolling. But regardless, you are actually unambiguously wrong. His ancestor speaks up for the Aboriginal time. Your Honor, I apologize. We approved to acquaint him this was nonsense, but he insisted he was right. Brandon protests. Dad, the guy had like 1,000 upvotes. Adjudicator Caprio cuts him off. Mr. Cole, upvotes are not legal precedent. Let me explain how this actually works. You committed adventuresome driving. You destroyed property. You endangered yourself and potentially others. These are violations of Rhode Island law. I am a adjudicator in Alley Island. I actually can, and I actually will appoint fines and penalties. But there is no but. You came into this courtroom with internet misinformation and approved to acquaint me what I can't do. That was a mistake, a cogent one. Brandon's mother is errant agilely now, clearly ashamed by her son's behavior. Judge Caprio continues, his articulation firm but not angry. Mr. Cole, I'm activity to advise you several lessons today. Aboriginal lesson, the internet is not a law school. Second lesson, you're in a hole, stop digging. Third lesson, cogent a adjudicator. What they can't do is about the affliction strategy imaginable. And beforehand man in the gallery, acutely a lawyer based on his attire, raises his hand. Adjudicator Caprio nods. Yes, counselor. The man stands. Your Honor, if I may, I'm an advocate actuality in Providence. I've been practicing for 32 years, and I appetite this adolescent man to understand something. What he aloof did, challenging a judge's ascendancy based on internet research, could accept resulted in antipathy charges. Your account is actuality appreciably patient. Judge Caprio nods. That's an excellent point, Mr. Cole. Do you accept how much worse this could be activity for you right now? Brandon, assuredly accepting it, whispers, Yes, Your Honor. Subscribe to Adjudicator Belief if you believe the internet doesn't replace actual acknowledged knowledge. Adjudicator Caprio opens the book afresh, and reviews it thoroughly while Brandon stands at the podium, no best confident, now visibly nervous. Mr. Cole, let's go through what you actually owe back. You assume confused about whether I can appoint fines for reckless active in Rhode Island. The fine is up to $1,000. I'm Artie 800. Brandon's eyes widen. His mother makes a small, complete of distress. Court costs and authoritative fees, $215. Your Honor, his ancestor starts. I'm not finished. For the acreage accident to the mall parking lot, amends of $1,200 payable to Providence Place Capital within 90 days. Brandon does the algebraic in his arch and looks sick. That's over $2,200 total. Additionally, your authorization is suspended for 60 days. After that, you'll be required to complete a 16-hour reckless driving advance for reinstatement. Your Honor, I charge my car for school. You should accept. Anticipation about that before accomplishing donuts in a parking lot at 2822A. And announcement it online for the world to see. Adjudicator Caprio's expressions softened slightly, but his words remain firm. Mr. Cole, you came in here thinking you'd begin a able loophole. Anticipation, upvotes, and appointment posts meant added then absolute law. You told a judge you can't acquisition me with absolute confidence, and you were actually wrong. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I absolutely thought that's the problem. You didn't think. You assumed. You trusted strangers on the internet added, then accepted sense. And now you're advantageous for that assumption. Literally. Brandon's ancestor speaks up. Your Honor, he's still in aerial school. He doesn't have that affectionate of money. I'll accept to pay this. Adjudicator Caprio all overs his head. Sir, with respect, I don't anticipate that's the appropriate approach. Your son is 18. He's legally an adult. He fabricated developed choices, destroying property, active recklessly, posting affirmation online. He needs to face developed consequences. But how is he supposed to pay over $2,000? The same way any developed does. He gets a job, he works, he pays it off over time. We can arrange a acquittal plan if needed, but he pays it, not you. Adjudicator Caprio looks directly at Brandon. Mr. Cole, you're about to apprentice what responsibility actually means. Your activity to work probably a lot of hours. Your activity to hand over every paycheck to pay these fines. Your activity to booty the bus for 2 months because you can't drive. And every time you do this, your activity to remember that internet-acknowledged admonition is worthless and accomplishments accept consequences. A woman in her 30s raises her hand. Judge Caprio nods. Yes, ma'am. Your Honor, I'm an Aerial Academy teacher. I see this all the time. Kids who anticipate Google searches accomplish them experts who trust social media added than actual professionals. This adolescent man needed exactly what you aloof gave him. A reality check. A man in his 50s stands. Your Honor, I own a baby business. I've hired teenagers, and I can acquaint you the ones who've never faced real consequences for their accomplishments are the worst employees. They anticipate rules don't apply to them. This kid bear this wake-up call. Brandon's mother, still wiping tears, speaks. Your Honor, may I say something? Of course. My bedmate and I, we've struggled with Brandon for years. He thinks he knows everything. He doesn't accept to us. He goes online and finds whatever acknowledgement he wants to hear. We approve to acquaint him, this accomplished. You can't be fined a fare was ridiculous. He wouldn't apprehend it. Maybe audition it from you adverse these consequences. Maybe that's what it takes. Judge Caprio's announcement shows understanding. Ma'am, parenting is hard. Parenting a teenager who has admission to unlimited misinformation online is alike harder. But you're right. Sometimes consequences teach, acquaint that words can't. He addresses Brandon again. Mr. Cole, your mother aloof said article important. You don't listen. You anticipate you know better than adults with actual experience. That's accustomed boyish behavior. But you're not a jailbait anymore. You're 18. You're in developed, and adults who don't listen pay big-ticket prices. Brandon nods, eyes downcast. I understand, Your Honor. Do you? Because 20 account ago, you stood there and told me I couldn't find you. With complete certainty, based on article you apprehend online from anonymous strangers, does that assume wise to you now? No, Your Honor. Why not? Brandon thinks carefully. Because I didn't verify the information. I didn't analysis if it activated to Rhode Island or to my situation. I just believed it because I capital it to be true. Adjudicator Caprio nods approvingly. That's acceptable self-awareness. Remember that feeling. The abutting time you're tempted to assurance internet strangers over professionals. Remember standing actuality adverse over $2,000 in fines because you believed an upvoted forum post. The advocate who battened beforehand adds one more thought. Your Honor, if I may, Mr. Cole, I achievement you apprentice from this. Real legal admonition comes from licensed attorneys who appraise your specific situation beneath applicative law, not from anonymous bodies on the internet. If you'd consulted an absolute advocate for 30 minutes, they'd told you immediately that your appointment admonition was nonsense. Would accept amount you may be $150. Instead, your advantageous $2,200. Brandon nods slowly, the abounding weight of his aberration assuredly by concave in. Drop a comment. Should his parents help pay? Or is Adjudicator Caprio appropriate that he needs to handle it himself? As the hearing concludes, Adjudicator Caprio delivers final words. Mr. Cole, agent will help you set up a acquittal plan. You accept 90 days to pay the amends to the mall. The added fines can be paid over 6 months. Your authorization abeyance starts immediately. You'll abandonment it before you leave. Any questions? No, Your Honor. Then let me leave you with this. You're 18. You're at a crossroads. You can abide cerebration, you know everything. Dupe internet strangers, ignoring admonition from bodies with actual knowledge. That aisle leads to big-ticket mistakes and adamantine lessons. Or you can alpha listening, verifying, thinking critically. That aisle leads to success. Which aisle are you activity to choose? Brandon's articulation is quiet but seems genuine. The additional one, Your Honor. I achievement so, because abutting time you appear in my court, and there bigger not be a next time, you won't get patience. You'll get best penalties. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. As Brandon and his parents leave, his ancestor can be heard saying, First affair tomorrow. You're getting a job appliance from every business in walking distance. The advocate approaches the bench. Your Honor, that was the adept chic in judicial backbone and education. Judge Caprio shrugs. He's 18. Old abundant to know better, but adolescent abundant to learn. 20 years from now, he'll acquaint this story to his own kids about the time he told a judge, You can't acquisition me, based on an internet forum. Think he learned? I anticipate his wallet learned. Whether his academician catches up remains to be seen. Subscribe to Adjudicator Belief, appropriate now for moments. A back internet aplomb meets courtroom absoluteness. And a back 4 words. You can't acquisition me amount $2,200. Brandon Cole absolved into cloister, thinking he'd outsmarted the system. He labored with no license, massive fines, and the knowledge that Reddit upvotes aren't legal precedent. Adjudicator Frank Caprio proved that cogent a adjudicator what they can't do is expensive, that internet legal admonition is account actually 0, and that absolute Apple after effects teach lessons no appointment column anytime could. This is what happens, a back aplomb exceeds knowledge. A back Google searches replace lawyers, and a back 1 jailbait learns that You Can't Acquisition Me is the most expensive book he's anytime said. Where are you watching from? Anytime gotten terrible admonition from the internet? Share your belief below.